because I think that would be a great way to feature the kids' artwork. So we'll see what happens. Let me see what we can zoom around for. So we have a community,
I think we're back on here at least.
It is.
Testing. Testing.
Oh, mics are, okay, now the mics are back on. What did he say? How many minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. A few. Do you want me to sing? Let me see. What's my favorite song? Neil Diamond.
You want to hit those notes?
I can hit those notes. Well, what else? Barbara Streisand? Anybody have any requests? What is it? I didn't hear. Free Bird.
It's a musical.
Free Bird. Oh, la 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 la. Okay, we're back online. Okay, we're sorry to the audience. We had some technical difficulties. It's 7:35. What we did was we acknowledged National Police Week, National Public Works. We welcomed our co-responder Taylor Sarko, and we presented the Morrisville Birdtown Do Not Litter poster contest winners. So let's keep moving. So the zoning hearing board, there's a 1-3-year appointment. The alternate expires at 1-4. So everybody who's interested in zoning, please get your letter of interest in. The engineering report, is the engineer here? Oh, there you guys are. Well, we're not at the agenda items yet. Sure, go ahead.
I have a question. I'm confused because of the change that you made in the way public comment is done. This says this is a different document that you have up here by public comment for the instructions for the public. It's a resolution that was passed, and it states that.
Debbie, could you state your name for the record?
Oh, Deborah Colgan, 120 West Hendrickson Avenue. It says here that that the council will provide a reasonable opportunity for residents or taxpayers of the borough of Morrisville at the beginning of each regular meeting or special meeting to comment on all matters listed for official action and to comment on other matters of concern or deliberation which may come before the council. So this is a resolution that you passed. Don't you have to rescind this before you can change your process for public comment at the meetings?
Was this a resolution passed by this council?
It was passed in 2018, 10003. It sits up here with our public comment. It's still sitting here now. So this is what
they can change the order of.
Pardon me?
This council can change the order of the work without having to rescind that. That was for that previous council.
So this sitting up here saying do not remove, you're not going by this. Shouldn't this be removed then or something? So you don't have to say, you don't have to do another resolution to change what you're doing. Okay, is there a reason why this information is sitting up here at the table?
I guess somebody just forgot to remove it.
Thank you.
Judith, can we make sure that that's removed?
Yes, we will.
Okay, sorry for the confusion. The engineering report, very exciting news. We're looking into doing a 2024 road program where we're going to do all the streets in Morrisville that haven't been done. So Jacob.
I'm Jacob Brigg. You were here last meeting. And then I brought Jason Tyrell with me from our office. And he's going to pass out.
Use the mic.
I can't. All right, so we have some extra documentation here.
The residents can't hear you.
Updated. Can you hear me now, everyone?
You have to pull it off. You have to talk like really close to it so that.
All right, how about now?
Perfect.
All right, again, I'm Jacob Brigg from Gilmore & Associates. I'm here on behalf of Kurt Schroeder tonight. He is on his way to Disney World.
Pull it out. Pull it out.
So.
Flip it. Just flip it. Look it out.
It's all right. Yeah, so Jason here from our office is passing out an updated cost estimate that I provided to Helen today. We did provide one last week, but we had some questions and further clarification, so we made some updates and I'm providing that to you tonight.
So the cost went down.
Correct. It did go down a little bit.
like to hear that.
Yes.
Can you work with John later to just verify that, because I only gave you a handful of suggestions?
Yeah.
Did you look at everything, or is it just
So we drove around the whole town of Morrisville.
Okay.
We looked at every single road. We categorized them. And so there's 106 roads on this list, 109. And that does include the first 12 are the Pico roads that were paved half width by Pico for the utility trenching. I've sorted them out and moved them up to the top of the list for you so you can all still see. And they are based on a variable width. So because their Pico did less than what the full width is, we did an average width based on using the half paved section already.
Okay.
So that did, that adjusted the cost, and so did, there was another item, Stockholm Ave was originally shown, was Paper Street, and it was included on here. That has been removed from, the Stockholm Ave has been paved by MMA 3-4 years ago now. So that road was removed. Also in this new packet is an updated map that does show, again, all of the roads that were paved from 2018 to 2023, and then the current roads to be paved in red, and then there are state roads that were paved in purple, and then the state roads in orange have not been paved by PennDOT yet.
Yeah, I think they have it on their schedule to pave next year or the year after.
I think John later just said 2027 maybe.
Yeah, oh, they moved it again.
Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure what.
It was supposed to be 2025 or 26.
Okay.
2026.
Gotcha.
Okay, for everybody who asked, the bridge at the corner of Union and North Pennsylvania Avenue is going to be done in 2027. And the Pennsylvania Avenue, Philadelphia Avenue, the state roads, Delmore, will be done in 2026. Okay, go ahead.
The bridge, I talked to them the other day. Hopefully, if things work out, shovel in the ground, March or April of 2025. So that's right now, that's where everything goes right. So it's going to take 2 years roughly to do that.
Excuse me, John, I do have your email here, and I was going to read it.
Okay.
So if you'd like to.
Can we read it?
Yes. I was planning on reading it during my report, but since
We started talking
Yes.
about it, so, all right, so it says due dates for bids 3 months prior, which is approximately October. Their bid submission would be in August, shovel in the ground, March, early April, approximately 2 years, 2.5 years to complete the project.
So they're starting in 2025,
2025, yes.
ending in 2027.
Ending in 2027.
Fantastic. So next year, that bridge will be worked on. Yay.
Yes, and we just received that information, so that's why we want, thank you, John.
Did they come up with a detour for that yet, John?
Yes.
What's the detour going to be, just in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, Trenton Avenue. They're just going to come down Trenton Avenue, trucks to Delmore, make the turn up Delmore to Bridge Street, and then back onto Pennsylvania Avenue that way. There will be some local traffic that will be up Palmer to Lafayette. That will be more. We don't expect any trucks. Doesn't mean there won't be. All tractor trailers and stuff any trucks should be going down Trenton Avenue. There shouldn't be any in the middle of town. That doesn't mean there won't be. But I mean, I guess we'll work with the police but that's the schedule. That's where it's supposed to go. So that's it. All right.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, so based on last time we were here, we were asked to, again, further reevaluate these roads and make a comprehensive list of all the roads in the borough that were not paved or needed paved. So that's what we have here now. We did send out utility notifications to all the utilities that would have facilities within Morrisville Borough. So we are waiting to hear back on them to see if they have any planned projects. I know I just talked to John before the meeting too, and I know there's a couple more Pico ones that he's going to forward that schedule back to us again so we can keep an eye on and adjust this list as we need to.
Also, the MMA is going to be working on, because they have to replace the 4-inch pipes. So if you could coordinate with the MMA.
Yeah, I sent them a letter, and
Okay.
I will coordinate directly with them to get their list of roads that they plan on doing work on, and we can, again, adjust if we need to, if they pave more than what we're anticipating, so.
Okay.
So we sent out our utility notifications. We've refined our scope, our list of roads here. We're at the $7,100,000. What was it? $7,148,318,
48,000.
and that does include 10% contingency and an engineering cost, which is it's about 10%, or a little bit less, which is typically covered through if this was to be liquid fuels. However, we deal with this. Liquid fuels covers 10% engineering. So
Jacob,
that's
does
how
this cover the curb ramps that are on the,
This does not. So also attached at the end of the packet here, we've provided a comprehensive list of all the curb ramps in Morrisville Borough that have not yet been completed. I know since we've been engineer, we've had since 2016, I believe, is when we came on. We've done several curb ramp projects, but they've been very minimal with 2 or 3 intersections per year. So this is a full list of every intersection that would need curb ramps updated at.
So when we were at the school, they were talking about how the kids walk from Grandview to the West Palmer, the high school.
Yeah.
And they said that there are some kids that need a handicap curb ramp. Can you put that at the top of the list to be done first?
Yep, that one is on there, but we can work with you and Public Works, the manager, to prioritize this list
Okay.
for sections, because depending on how you want to work with your money and funds, there are several grant programs that you can apply for curb ramps, one being DCD multimodal, which is actually due at the end of July. So I think it comes open end of May here. It's usually about a month and a half that they're open. That does require a 30% match, and they anticipate award in November. So we'd apply for the money now, but we will most likely won't be able to start construction until end of the year, early next year, spring.
Okay.
Another one is PennDOT multimodal. That's another 30% match, but those applications don't open up until the fall, September, October, with them being due in November. And then the other one that is always good is CDBG, which is the Bucks County Community Development Block Grant, which that one opens in February and closes in March. That one doesn't have a match besides the cost for engineering. It does not include engineering costs in that. So those are 3 good ones that I know the borough has applied for all of these before in the past. So if we would like to put together some sort of comprehensive curb ramp list to go through and do a couple intersections every year, since if the roads are planned to be paved, it's mandatory to state regulation to update those intersections as you pave the roads.
Okay.
But if you do it in what we've seen in the past, if you do it in groups and you show that you're doing the effort, it's an attempt to meet that regulation. So
Jacob, what was the deadline for the DCD?
DCD multimodal was July 31st. So if we would like to do that one, we need a resolution on the June, or I guess we could do it on July meeting.
We can do it on the June. Yeah.
So we can come up with a list.
Yeah, council, that we're going to put that on the June meeting? Okay. Yeah, looks that way.
Yeah, we can put together a list. I don't know if, based on cost, number of ramps, we want to work that out with the borough here, come up with that list to get a resolution together for that June meeting.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm right.
As far as the rest of the road program, again, this is our number that's set in right now. It's kind of up to you guys how much you want to spend or what you want to go forward with at this point. So look for you to tell us how to proceed, and anticipate if we were to do this full project, we would recommend bidding it in November, December to award February. Bid opening in January, award in February, so they could start early March, April 2025.
And can you explain to the public, we're not paying out $7 million. Could you explain the funding?
So I don't know if I don't have that been discussed any further. We still Are we going to attempt liquid fuels? There's liquid fuels. Are we going to try to do? We're going to break these down by roads and.
I think we were talking about getting a bond issued and using liquid fuels to pay for the principal and interest.
Okay.
Is that correct?
We would get a bond issue and use liquid fuels. We would also utilize EIT money if needed.
Okay. So with this
Or,
cost,
or also, there could be Penvest, there could be other options, but we would need to look into
our
those
office
options.
hasn't looked into the monetary
Okay.
situation of that. We would defer that to the borough.
Okay,
So yeah, we don't get involved with the money sign.
understood.
But this now, here's a rough, a good estimate of what it would cost to do every single road in the borough. That's outstanding.
So if you did all of these roads, you would put in November, you would put a bid out, and your estimate is that it would cost 7.1 million.
Correct.
Okay, so that would be locked in, or as the roads are done, it could change?
It is subject, it could change. There are factors that could increase it, asphalt price, material prices, such like that could go up. The other thing that could change it is if we go back out, say October, just to do a quick reevaluation and make sure the utility companies didn't pave half roads so we can remove things, or if there are roads that get redone for other reasons, we can remove them. So this could change some. I wouldn't say it's going to change a lot, but
Okay.
there's a little bit of wiggle room for variability on that.
Anyone on council have any questions? Everybody happy about the road program? Okay, how about the audience? Can we wait till public comment? So we're not voting on this evening, we're just discussing. So if anybody's worried, we probably won't be put on until next month's agenda. So we won't vote on this until June. So this is just a presentation to let council review it and get a handle on what's going on.
Yeah, and I would say give us time to get some responses back from these utility companies that we notified, so that way we can get another list.
So do you want this on our June agenda or on our July?
That's up to you.
That's up to us?
Yeah.
I would think the best way to do it is continue with the updates until you think you have a final list, and let myself, Judith, know, and we can move it forward then. Because I think that's a good idea to keep them apprised of what's going on, especially with what you're saying, Jacob, with you're still waiting to hear back from some of the utilities and things might change, because in all actuality, with the schedule they put until October when you're actually bidding it out, that's really when you're going to take the most of your action anyway. So.
Okay, so it won't be on.
Well, yes, the grant application's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, for curb ramps, to do a curb ramp project, we'll get you a resolution for the June meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, we'll work with either the borough manager or John later to kind of narrow down a group here. We'll select a number of ramps that we'd like to apply for, and can go from there, prioritize them.
Yes, I'll need to know the cost so we can anticipate the match. Thank you.
So we can discuss if there's a limit on the match amount you want to spend. We can work backwards into the grant amount.
Thank you.
I'm open to any other questions on the road program, if there are any at this time.
Any other questions? No, I think everybody's good.
Okay.
We're excited.
Yeah. We'll keep working. We will see what we can come up with here in the next couple months.
Okay.
Keep watching. The other thing that I have on the engineer's report is an update on the levy. If some of you were, I don't know if all of you were
Talking to the mic.
present for everything with the levy, but the borough has been working for the past several years now to get the levy accredited, as it was removed from FEMA's flood map as a levy. So the floodplain from the river fully encompasses in all of the area behind Williamson Park, the area behind the levy. So we've been working. We had borough received two grants, one in 2017 and one in 2019, to do the H&H study, which would test and verify that the levee is acceptable as it is constructed and would stand up to flood, storms, etc. So we have prepared, with the help of Atera Solutions, we've prepared a new levee study report, which does confirm that the levee is acceptable. There were a couple items that had to be corrected. We've submitted this report to FEMA twice now. First time we got back a couple comments to change, update the report, etc. And then the second time we are in there's just some minor little housekeeping items we had to update. There was some incorrect information in the thing, or just discrepancies between a report and the page. It was minimal items. One of the bigger items, though, and what I do have, I don't know if Judith, if you passed this out to
Yes, it was in council's drop. Thank you.
councils, yeah. So there are, in this first summary up front, there are some questions that we do need to figure out with the borough, and we can work with Judith to get these answers. We will have to update an operations and maintenance manual for the levee, and that will have to be adopted by the council. That's a requirement of FEMA. And then there's also this the emergency action plan, which will also need to be updated and adopted by the borough to, again, for this levee. So at the moment, that is our step to get this levee semi-accredited. So that will get the levee put back on the map, but it will not remove the floodplain from behind the levee. Because the floodplain, from what the H&H study came up with, the floodplain behind the levee is actually a result of some of the canal. So there are two projects that came out of this study, both which we've applied for grants through the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. This came about 2 years ago now when those large rainstorms and the major flooding happened. FEMA put out this grant program, which is 100% funded by, it's 75% funded by FEMA and 25% funded by the state through PEMA, through the Pennsylvania Emergency Action. So we have two projects that are required to get the levee fully accredited and remove the floodplain from behind the levee.
Okay, so when do you think that will be? Do you have a...
So the first one is this backflow preventer project, which is on East Bridge Street. There's several inlets in Williamson Park that discharge out on the other side of Bridge Street, on the other end of the bridge abutment into the marshy area. That outlet structure, if the river flows up, it'll come back up through that pipe and is pushing water back into the park. So water's coming in that way. So one of the projects is to put a backflow preventer, which is a little flap that will open and close when it needs to let water out, but not let water back up in. We have the intent to award received for this grant, and that we have estimated $25,000 for that. And again, the state would cover 25% and FEMA would cover the 75%. I know Judith and I have been working to get the grant agreement executed. There's some administrative things that need to be handled to get that taken care of, but that money has been obligated towards Morrisville Borough. So as soon as we get that agreement, we can get that project started. We did one in Bristol Borough, and it was a month and a half. To get that installed, it's a relatively easy task, and we shouldn't need much equipment to get down in there. So that project, once we get this grant agreement executed, can start almost immediately. We'd have to put it out to bid, but we can put that package together as soon as once the grant agreement started, because again, some of the engineering is covered by this grant, but we can't start until the grant agreement's executed.
So what does it mean? So the certifying the levy, when will that be in, and will the insurance for the residents that live along the floodplain be reduced?
To fully get those residents out of the floodplain, the two construction projects need to be put into place to reduce. The problem is the canals dumping water behind the levee right now, and the water coming back up this pipe on Bridge Street is putting water back behind the levee. The FEMA accreditation is going to be partial at the moment, but that's just to get the levee certified as it is a levee. So FEMA will put it back on the map. The floodplain will be lifted from that 25-foot width area with the levee takes up. To get the rest of the residents out of the floodplain, it is to do these two projects. And again, we have the one grant obligated for the backflow preventer. It's a smaller project, but it will reduce some area of floodplain behind the levee for those residents. Might be a couple on I don't know what street that is. Is it Park Ave?
Park and Central.
Yeah, there's a couple that might get removed from that project specifically. But the major project that would need to be completed is the flood gate. It's a waste gate for the Delaware Canal. It currently, It's it's down from Bridge Street. Is that Bridge Street? Calhoun.
I don't know where you're talking, so I don't know.
Levy? I think this is
Trenton is by.
Trenton Avenue or Bridge Street?
Calhoun, I think is the next one up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's Trenton Avenue.
It would be on the other side of Trenton Avenue towards the waterworks. On that side, that's where they're looking to put it, on that side. Not where it is now, where the gate is now is right by the water tower. Now we're going to move it. They want to move it on the other side of Trenton Avenue.
So that it's right.
So
I
that it'll-
understand.
Right. So it's right now that, like Jacob said, the canal is behind. It's like it's like a hole in the levee. That's what they consider it. So if we move it down that way, that's what will allow it to be fully accredited.
Okay, so I understand that, like, there's a process, but the residents just ask, like, when is my insurance is going to go down? So, like, do you have an estimate of when that will be?
That one, so we do have a grant application for that one too. We resubmitted it as an engineering grant because FEMA, to get the construction money, asked several technical questions that were beyond what the borough has to pay for engineering at the moment. So we've rephased this project to request grant funding. We requested, we requested $202,000 to do the engineering to relocate this floodgate for the canal above West Trenton Ave. Once that is completed and FEMA signs off on it, they will obligate the next round of funding, which would be the construction. FEMA has all the grant application information right now. I think we sent it to them last month for the rephasing. They've been relatively quick. The hardest part is the grant agreement, which sometimes has taken 3 months for that other one just to get it back from FEMA. So there is probably some time before that project starts officially. Backflow preventer, though.
One more time. The residents keep asking us, when is their insurance going to go down? So can you just give me an estimate of what you think that date will be?
Well, I'd probably estimate 6 to 8 months for the design of the wastegate project. And then from there, it's probably going to be another 12, 16 months to construct that project.
So you're talking 2.5 to 3 years.
Potentially.
And their insurance will stay they need to keep the flood insurance during that whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I'm not too familiar with flood insurance.
Okay.
But
So, and then once the construction and all of that's complete, how soon after that will FEMA lift it?
we just have to, we'll have to submit some paperwork. We'll have to show the study that we completed these projects and that what the new floodplain area would be behind the levee. And
I mean, I know red tape with the government, but
Yeah.
like,
the way that the way that the study has gone so far to get us this far to accreditation has been like 2 years, 3 years now. But that was also us doing all the engineering to submit that study. It was probably a year and a half, if that, for them to review. But the time we got the 2 reviews back on the FEMA study.
so your estimate is 1.5 to 2 years to get the project completed, and then another potential 2 years
Say
for
6 to 8 months for FEMA to review the accreditation documentation to get those people out of the floodplain.
Thank you.
So you're talking end of 2026? About?
Potentially.
I understand things can
Yeah.
change.
If we move forward and if we keep pushing forward like we have been, yes,
Okay. Can we push FEMA at all?
we have been.
Anybody else can push FEMA?
We can definitely try. We can get with the senators and
Do you need me to help with this, or the council to help with the senators, the mayor to help with the senators?
Because whatever we could do to help them out,
Anybody.
we'll do it.
yeah, I mean, we can regroup and
Because these people are paying a lot of money and they're not really in the floodplain.
understood.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know the struggle. we've been trying. We've been
I know, I
trying
understand.
several years now to get this, so.
Okay, so Mayor Walsh, you and I, and anybody else on council want to, Melissa, anybody else? Catherine? Andrew, we'll call, now there's a quorum.
I don't have to do it, but I want it done. I'm
You
one
know-
of those neighbors.
I
You
get
should
it.
be
Hang
the
it.
one on there.
So
We will do it, we'll look at the committee dates, and we will have it during the committee. The public will be welcome to join in, and we'll try to figure out a plan on how we're going to attack it and get to our state reps to push this along.
Do you know when that committee meeting is next?
I have to look at the calendar, I don't know off the
Alright.
top of my head.
If you let us know, I can give another update, or I can try to prepare another update like this.
Okay, yeah, I'll look
If we move any further by the time you get to that.
yeah, I'll look tomorrow, and then I'll make sure that I email you.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll email everyone on council, and I guess we'll put it on the website so that the residents know if they want to come to the levy meeting, which meeting it will be at.
Okay.
Okay, everybody okay with that in the public? Okay, good.
That's the only two items I had to comment on tonight. Is that
Okay,
it? Any
thanks.
other questions?
No, I think everybody's good.
No, I appreciate that. It means a lot to a lot of residents, so thank you.
That detail for the levy is much thorough in the letter that we prepared, so,
Okay, great.
yeah, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out,
Will do.
but,
We have your email.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Borough Manager report?
Thank you, Jacob. For anyone who didn't have a chance to see our new dump truck that's outside with a salt spreader and plow, we applied for a grant for that, $129,000 grant. We were awarded taxpayer-free, so we will have that in service this winter. It's in service as of today, so we're very happy to announce that. Thank you. We also had the wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony for the Bridge Street project. Thank you all for attending. I know we were running really late this evening, so I'm going to cut my report very short. The other item that I'd really like to talk about is the Manor Park. At this time, we have a donation, an engineering donation in place, thanks to Council President Hellhole. We met with the engineers at the county to proceed with the CDBG grant that we just received for $300,000 with help from Jacob and Kurt. Thank you for that. We also have a grant in place for the parking lot at the senior center, which is owned by the borough. The county has been helping us with that. Thank you very much to the county. And we also have a relevant donation in place for the additional funding that I've been able to acquire. So we're going to be removing some of the playground equipment as we speak at the Manor Park Playground. And we'll also be having a project event with Reldon because they're going to have to help us also. They'd like to do that with some of the removal. And hopefully we'll have the project out to bid by end of summer, and we should see some major accomplishments by the end of the year, if weather permitting, if not into next year. So I'm very excited to say that this project has been long awaited, and we're finally going to be up and running with it. So, and I'll cut my report short. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, solicitor report. So this was brought up, we had the car show, and some of the businesses along Bridge Street were asking if they sold alcohol and the street is closed. Are people allowed to walk in that closed area with an open container drinking, or do they have to stay inside? I'm leaving that to our solicitor.
Sure. The answer is, as of right now, they need to stay inside. Good news is that is a local regulation. State laws only deal with from an open container standpoint when you're driving or public intoxication. The reason people need to stay in a private place is our own ordinances, which prohibit alcohol consumption on streets, sidewalks, and public places. So
Okay, so council, would you like us to look into changing that to allow that if there is an event going on and we have street closures or a designated area, to change it to allow people to roam and consume?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, it looks like we have a consensus. Judith, can you look into adjusting that?
Certainly, I'll work with the attorney on new ordinance.
Okay.
New ordinance, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then when we have that in the agenda, the public can come and speak to it. Police chief report. Today is our last day with acting Chief Simpson. He will stay on as a consultant for us. So Chief Simpson, we're sad to see you go.
That's a lie.
No, it isn't.
I don't really have a report, but I do want to say and extend my gratitude to the manager, the administrative staff, all the department heads, John, everybody that council, mayor, legal team, codes. I've worked with all of you over the last 5 months, trying to put out one fire or the next, or trying to deal with an issue one way or another. I hope for the your engagement, I helped elevate the experience or bring us a solve to some of these things. In particular, I want to thank the police officers and the police staff that have been cooperative and helped me along the way, and I hope I've helped them along the way. And I'm not going far. I know on the agenda here is a very limited term. If you need, call and ask. Certainly here to help support any of the things going forward. I'm excited for Morrisville Borough's future. I think today and yesterday has been a good turning point for the police organization and the borough as a whole. So I'm not going far, and I look forward to, helping you if you need it, but otherwise visiting now and again just to say hello. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
And just to let the public know, we are in search of a new police chief, and am I allowed to say, like, we're narrowed down the search, and then we're rounding out the interviews, so hopefully that decision will be in the next couple weeks. Okay, we have a lot going on the consent agenda. I'm going to try and read these very quickly. We did remove item N because we did not get a chance to discuss it in executive session, so item N is going to be removed. Okay, we're going to approve the minutes from the 4/16 council meeting. We're going to approve the bill list from 4/1 to 4/30 in the amount of $323,874.71. Approval of resolution and ratification of the conveyance of the tax parcel number 24012-081, the Cloverleaf, consisting of approximately 10 acres from Morrisville Borough to the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Bucks for nominal consideration. Approval of certificate of completion number 3, final, and release letter of credit in the amount of $43,171.00 regarding Britain Industries, Inc., letter of credit number 18131726-00-000. Ratification of the completed and submitted application for the 2024 Bucks County Police Community Building Mini Grant for National Night Out, funds in the amount of $2,400, no cost to the borough. Ratification of completed and submitted EDI grant application for Morrisville School District in the amount of $3,675,000 for 3 components: replacement of a damaged roof at 2 community borough properties, $3.2 million, installation of safety bollards at 4-foot intervals at 2 community borough properties, $75,000, and an abatement and tile replacement at 2 community properties, $400,000. That total grant is $4 million. Approval to advertise ADA parking ordinance to vote at the June 18th council meeting. Approval to advertise noise and disturbing the peace ordinance to vote at the June 18th council meeting. Approval of closing the 200 block of Bank Street from 2 to 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, June 22nd for a birthday party. Approval approval of $361, a cap of $100 approved at 319 council meeting in the expense for the 7/13/2024 food and truck event, and $1,986, a cap of $1,000 were approved at the 3/19/24 council meeting, and expenses for the 9/15 Irish Festival for a total of $2,347. A total cap of $1,100 was approved in the March meeting for the 2 Parks and Recreation events. Approval of change order number 4, Borough Hall for QPI Electrical Company, Inc. in the amount of $2,153. Approval of the event of Tuesday, August 6th, 2024, from 5 to 8 p.m. for the annual National Night Out event to be held in the parking lot of Borough Hall. We will be closing Washington Street between Union Street and Borough Hall parking lot, contingent upon all necessary forms and paperwork being submitted and approved. Mayor, get that in. Okay, it's in. Approval of the mayor's picnic to be held in Williamson Park on Saturday, August 31st at 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., rain or shine, contingent upon all necessary forms and paperwork being submitted and approved. Approval of 2 pool party events at the dog park. First event on Sunday, June 30th from 12 to 3, and the second event on Sunday, 9/15 from 12 to 3. No cost to the borough. Approval of transfer of funds from borough RDA blighted escrow account in the amount of $25,959.29 for the project administration to the RDA for 327 Prospect Avenue, leaving a balance of $239,131.71. Approval of contract for consultation services with a Rarefied Leadership Group, LLC, at the rate of $125 for interim coaching and mentoring for supervisory personnel in the police department, contract commencing May 22nd, 2024. Approval for payment of borough manager's expenses not to exceed $1,100 to attend the PA State Association of Boroughs 112th Annual Conference at Hershey Lodge in Hershey, PA, being held June 2nd to 5th, 2024. Call for a motion to designate an official voting delegate, which we have to name, and an alternate delegate for the 112th General Assembly of Boroughs, June 2nd to 5th, 2024. The designated voting delegate is appointed for the purpose of electing the officers of the association and voting on proposed resolutions and policies. Council, is everybody good with this being a consent agenda? Anybody want any of this removed and voted separately? I'm sorry, wait. We haven't made a motion yet. Anybody want to remove anything and move it to an action item? No? Okay, can I have, Scott Robinson, will you make a motion?
So moved.
Luke, will you second that motion?
Second.
Okay, does council have any commentary? Nothing? I just want to let the public know that we are looking into, and maybe the solicitor can speak a little bit more, the Cloverleaf property, we're finally getting movement on it. They are looking to...
Sure. First, let me just finish up one thing I was going to say. We do have to put the actual names of the people in the motion as well, so for the voting delegates.
So the only one...
I want to remove that from the consent agenda, and then we can do that one separately.
I think, Judith, you are the only one going, correct?
Correct.
So we will just add in Judith Danko as the voting delegate, and we don't have a second. Okay.
So the Cloverleaf property, as most of you will know, and long before any of us were up here and I was here, this is, they're reaffirming the sale to the RDA. This was, or transfer, I should say. It's not really a sale. This was actually done back in 2007, 2008. At that time, it was turned over to the RDA solicitor, the deed. That deed is no longer to be found. So what's going on here is we're just re-ratifying that, re-signing the deed, and they're getting to move forward. They have a developer in, not a developer, but a site contractor in mind to prepare the site. Obviously, there's concerns about site stability, being a Brownsfield potentially, contamination, things like that. So they have a remediation contractor ready to prepare the site, and that way it could go out to a developer. The RDA will work with the township, not the township, excuse me, the borough council on what it would like to see there. judging by the area and the zoning, we're looking at that Riverview neighborhood area. So, both the RDA and their site contractor believe it is a good area for a good developer to come in from a residential development standpoint. Residential development, consistent with the zoning that's currently there.
Okay, does anybody from the public have any comments on any one of these items on the consent agenda? Come up and state your name and address.
I don't call it the Cloverleaf, I call it the Manor Park landfill. Cloverleaf is a...
Please state your name.
I'm sorry. My name is Donald Rice, Crown Street, Morrisville. I am here to request that consent agenda item C, approval of resolution and ratification of tax parcel number 24-012-081, the Manor Park landfill, consisting of approximately 10.85 acres from Morrisville Borough to the RDA, be removed from the consent agenda because, one, there's a conflict in the area. If you go to the Bucks County parcel viewer, they say the area is 9.12 acres, not 10.85 acres. Two, there's been 2 previous remedial investigation reports done by the RDA. DEP rejected both of these reports as unsatisfactory and would not let them proceed until they submitted a better report. On the good news, the third report, most recent report, is much better. The Manor Park landfill is a state-identified contaminant site. This report found several contaminants at the landfill in concentrations exceeding clean fill limits. Lead was found at a concentration of 7,000 micrograms per kilogram. Possible effects of lead exposure in children include lowered intelligence, decreased coordination, shortened attention span, aggressive behavior, reading and other disabilities, and it also has effects in adults. It's a nasty contaminant. This report provides a plan to clear and grade the site, but it does not address the dirt, the trucks and other heavy equipment, noise, traffic, and air emissions. I know you've been working to get trucks off of Pennsylvania Avenue. This would put a whole lot more, as well as heavy equipment on the site. The dust could contain lead, and that could spread to the neighbors. Therefore, before giving the landfill to the RDA, Morrisville Borough Council should require the RDA to publicly address site contaminant remediation and site construction issues at the Manor Park landfill. So we have all of these under control. And most importantly, when the site is remediated to state standards, how will the site be used? I hadn't heard what you just told me. It's not on the agenda. I am not opposed to development of this site. It's been tried to be developed for a long time now. It's approaching 20 years. The RDA has not done it responsibly to this point, and we need to bring them in, put them on the record, and let them explain to us what they have in mind for this site. This is just not a simple thing you're doing here. This is very important to Morrisville Borough and its future. Thank you.
Do you want to say anything, or? We did have a meeting here, and there was a group from council, just to know. I looked up the emails. I wasn't ignoring you when you were talking. But what the email says is that the cleanup plan is relatively simple. It establishes a grade, removes anything they find, and they cap with 2 feet of clean fill. And they said that they have a final report from the DEP, and they have approved the environmental covenant into perpetuity. They also said that if anybody had any questions, that they should contact the DEP.
I think it would be the responsible thing to do, to bring them in here and let them speak to the public directly. Let the neighbors know. There are neighbors all around that site, and that's going to be impossible to contain the dust, the noise, everything involved with the remediation part of the plan. And as well as, what are you going to put there? I think the neighbors in all of Morrisville would be interested to know, what they have in mind. So
We haven't been to the point where we have decided what we're going to put there. We're just remediating the land so that we can do something with it.
well, don't you think they ought to have a plan before we give them the property?
So we have a cooperation. I keep saying township. It's been a while since I've been here, so that's part of the problem. The borough has a cooperation agreement with the RDA. So anything they would plan to do, they would need council's input before they do it. So the idea here, what they're doing, they're doing it in 2 steps. Get it remediated so it can be then marketed, and then try and work with council to figure out what should go there for any potential development.
The area of the landfill is zoned RN, residential neighborhood. So I would assume if you're going to not change the zoning, that whatever would go there would be housing. You don't put housing on top of an old landfill, no matter how well it's been remediated. That's a recipe for disaster. You don't want kids playing in soil potentially contaminated with lead. So that's why I'm saying it's important to know what they have in mind. There are appropriate uses for this site, and they can remediate this site. I just want to bring them in here, let them tell us what they have in mind, and see what is going to go in there. It's going to affect a lot of people. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. It's not, it is noted with me, with your comments. Anybody else have any? Debbie Colgan?
Debbie Colgan. My question is also about
Address?
120 West Hendrickson Avenue. I also have a question, comment on the Cloverleaf number C. I know that this conveyance, you said it happened in 2007. It also happened in 2018. So this will be the 3rd time that this has happened. I guess it's because the deeds get lost. They don't, the paperwork doesn't go through.
Yeah, I think the one in 2018, I think they brought it back up looking through all of our files. It never got finally voted on. The last thing, there were some changes to the resolution. So yeah, they were bringing it up in 2018, but I don't think it ever got, based on our records and the RDA's records, it never actually got voted on.
And the other thing is that as I believe that you guys must be aware that the property that you're talking about includes half of Manor Park Playground and all of the Senior Center parking lot. It's my understanding from the RDA that the plans would be that whoever the developer or whoever you sell this property to, that they are going to convey those portions of that lot, that tax map parcel, back to the borough. Shouldn't that be guaranteed in writing somewhere, or is this just an informal verbal agreement?
That's part of the cooperation agreement. Yes, that land will be subdivided off and conveyed back to the borough. Yeah.
And does it say that somewhere? Do we have that?
It was a part of the cooperation agreement that was originally signed back in 2007. I think that's when it started.
Okay, so that's in the cooperation agreement for this, and we can see that. We can get that cooperation agreement from the borough.
I assume.
I believe we have.
Yeah.
If we do, I believe we have it, and if we don't, we'll get it from the RDA.
My understanding also from the RDA is that this property, the work permit that they're working under for remediation is for industrial use only, or non-residential, non-residential use, and that's what they are remediating for. And they said if there was any decision to go for residential, it would be up to the borough. But my concern doing that, the reason why you're going through this process through Act 2 is that it prevents liability for the borough or for the property owner for anything to come back for poor remediation, inappropriate remediation. So if you have a work plan that is for non-residential use, you go and develop it for residential, you're going to be liable under Act 2. You can clarify this to me. That's my understanding that if you nullify, this is actually the whole process that they're going through is voluntary. It's only for protection from liability. So if you go for something that's not that's not, that's residential, you could invalidate your indemnity, I guess they call it, or whatever, your, what's that called? I don't even know. Are you familiar with that?
No. It's not an area of law we practice, no.
Okay, but they are, the RDA confirms that they are doing,
That's 3 minutes.
pardon me?
That's 3 minutes.
Okay, well, now I've got something about another one.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, we should have that clarified. Is it 3 minutes per agenda item or 3 minutes in total?
Well, it would be, considering the consent agenda is one item, it would be 3 minutes per agenda item.
I was advised by the mayor that I had 3 minutes for each one.
Well, the consent agenda is one item.
That's what you said, that's what I prepared for.
Well,
What I said was you would have 2 chances to speak, was before the consent agenda on those, and then again at the very end on just regular non-agenda items.
So I can't say,
It's at the discretion of our president.
How many items do you need to speak of?
quick question on a couple of things. The ordinances, the parking ordinance and the noise ordinance, was that ever discussed? Are those ordinances already written?
So this is just to advertise the ordinances, so you can come speak at the next meeting.
Yes, and once they're advertised, they're available for public viewing,
Is
yes.
there any opportunity for public input for the development of those?
Yeah, this is just advertising, so yes, the next step would be for review by the public, and if they wanted to put in input, they absolutely can, yes.
Right, so that happens.
Okay, this isn't an answer, this is not a back and forth. I'm sorry, Debbie, but you're over your 3 minutes, and this isn't a back and forth.
You're choosing to use my time to talk.
Your 3 minutes has been up already.
You talked during my 3 minutes.
I don't recall talking in your 3
You guys
minutes.
didn't say anything during the 3 minutes.
Well, if questions were being answered. Listen,
So that's part of my 3 minutes?
Yes.
So you can talk as much as you
okay,
want and use.
okay, we're gonna move on. So we have a motion and we have a second. Is there anybody else that wants to make any public comment? Is it about the agenda items? I'm sorry, do you want to come up to the mic? State your name and address. You don't have to give the house number.
Bill Farrell, 347 North Pennsylvania Avenue, Morrisville, PA. I've been here since 73, 74. That place, Cloverleaf, was a dump then, and it's been a dump there. It's laid dormant for all these years. It was, they did it one time, they tried it, it didn't work. They tried it a couple times, it still didn't work. I don't know how deep you're going to have to go to get the dirt out and get rid of it, okay? Because I had a 550-gallon tank taken out of my bank. It was in there for over 100 years. And they didn't have to do anything with the dirt, the ground. It was clean. So, and I'll do what I finish what I'm going to say. They do a great job with the plowing, but these snow trains fly down this street with that salt and put it up on my porch. They shoot it up there. They go 80 miles an hour and they plow it there. They put the stuff at the corner. They let it there. They leave it right there. They block, when they go by, they block the sidewalk. I've cleaned it 3 or 4 different times, and that stuff is heavy. It's heavy. It's salt. Everybody says, you don't want salt in the drains. You don't want that salt in the drain. I buy stuff that's not salt. It melts it. It's calcium chloride. It's not salt. It disintegrates. That's my problem. And I'll finish. As for George McClay, you've been trying to fire him for 11, 12 years that he was here. I've known George since he's been here. When I came here, after that, there was robberies, shootings going all through Morrisville for a long, long time. The crime went down. People were breaking into houses, doing all that stuff. And the police would get there late. But the bottom line is the crime was down. So, and finally, Memorial Day is a day coming up. This will be a memory of Memorial Day that I'll remember. I'll remember what happened tonight. I won't forget it. I will not forget it. And like I said, I agree with all the bills they want to pay and all that stuff. But I think it was dishonest for you to get rid of George McClay, whether you liked him or not. I thought he did a hell of a job. And I told him that all the time because he used to ride by and stop. Ask any problems if I did. He won't go take it or call one of the police officers. I'm done. Thanks.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. No more public comments. Scott, did you want to say something?
Yeah, something, Mr. Farrell? Mr. Farrell, before you leave, our intern chief is up here. He's very friendly and very approachable. He knows a lot. Did he answer your questions? Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Consent agenda passes 8-0.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, 7-0.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, now we have our action items. Call for a motion to approve agreement with Call for motion to approve the settlement agreement with George McClay in the amount of $145,000 with $55,000 for PTO. Andrew, would you make that motion?
So moved.
Melissa, would you second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any comments?
I have a comment. There has been a lot of vicious misinformation and disinformation over the last 9 months to a year from that microphone over there. Most six-figure, 10-year tenured civil service employees normally get millions of dollars and their job back when they're wrongfully or illegally terminated. And I don't know how
I'm
many
going to advise you at
times.
this time, please.
Say again?
Scott, I'm going to advise you as your attorney, this comment should not be made any further.
Okay, everyone knows how I feel.
Okay. Any comments from the public? No? Okay, we have a motion and a second. No comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Call for a motion to designate a borough representative as a point person. We didn't talk about this either, so should we remove this from the agenda?
I felt it should be the engineer. This is something that our engineer should be involved in.
So who should that be?
Gilmore Associates.
Council okay with Gilmore and Associates? Okay, call for a motion to designate a borough representative as a point person for the newly assembled Bucks County Planning Commission Watershed Plan Advisory Committee, or Gilmore and Associates. Catherine, will you make the motion?
I so move.
John, will you second it?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the public? No comments from the public. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. We did not talk about motion C, so we're going to move that from the agenda. Motion D, call for a motion after discussion of Borough Council's position on the zoning hearing board application regarding 50 Penn Avenue LLC. Oh, we didn't discuss it, but LLC Manor Park School, 50 Penn Avenue, Morrisville, PA, 19067, and whether to direct the solicitor to attend the zoning hearing board meeting on Monday, June 3rd, 2024. Andrew, would you make the motion?
So moved.
Luke, do you want to second it?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Before we make the motion, it says
It's too late.
are we sending him or are we not sending
That's
him?
what I said. That's what the discussion is. We're discussing it now.
Okay.
So, so what they want to do at Judith or Scott, do you want to talk about what they want to do at the Manor Park School?
Sure. Obviously, there was the sale of the Manor Park School from the school district to a private entity. They're looking to convert the building, different type of office, retail, professional type uses would be the idea of what they're planning there. So they're seeking a use variance.
Okay, so they're seeking a use variance. One of the applications said it was going to be like a swap office building. I don't think that belongs in a residential neighborhood, but I'm going to let council discuss. So do you want to send the solicitor to argue against it, or do you not want to send a solicitor, or nobody cares?
I don't think that it should be what's proposed, so I would,
Send the solicitor?
the solicitor, yeah.
Anybody else send the solicitor? I want to send the solicitor. Okay, so we are going to have the motion. We did discuss with Borough Council, so we are going to send the solicitor to attend the zoning hearing board meeting on Monday, June 3rd. You know what you're going to do there? Scott?
Most likely, knowing the attorney, if I contact him tomorrow and tell this might get continued, but we would be obviously opposing this application, yes.
Okay, if he wants to come talk with us, we're more than willing to have a conversation with
Yes.
the person, but okay, so we have a motion and a second. We are going to send the solicitor.
Public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, public comment. Anybody have anything to say? Okay, motion and a second, no comments. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? You're opposed? Oh, okay. So Catherine is opposed, and any abstentions? Motion passes 6-1.
Helen, this is not executive session. We should really talk about it.
I just went.
Bring it back up.
Okay.
So Judith is telling me that item C is not executive session. Does anybody want to bring that back up? Do we know what that is?
I can speak to it. What this is.
Well, we don't have a motion in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's a call for a motion to appoint, to approve appointment of delegates and alternates to the Bucks County Tax Collection Committee with a voting delegate with a first alternative voting delegate and a second alternative voting delegate. Scott, do you want to make a motion? Well, I don't know what this,
You can open it up for discussions. Let's talk
Okay.
about what it is, and that way people can be a little bit informed about what they would be appointing someone to do.
So what this is this is.
we don't have a motion in a second. Melissa?
Second.
Do you want to make a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Judith, what is this about?
This is related to our earned income tax collection. We currently have Keystone Collection Agency collecting our earned income taxes. And yearly what we do is a resolution to have delegates go to the monthly meetings or the quarterly meetings and vote on items that are on the agenda regarding it. Most of the time, it's about the money that's spent for a solicitor for them to do certain items, or if there's collection information for us. In the past, I had been the voting delegate, and Catherine was one of the delegates and Nancy was one of the other delegates. The reason for alternate delegates is because if I can't make it, then someone else should go and represent the borough. So you want to go to these meetings because you want to listen and see the agenda and know what's going on regarding what the tax collection committee is doing regarding your collection of your EIT income taxes. And so if you have any questions, please ask.
And I'll add, this is a county committee, so every municipality has a representative that goes to this committee to vote. They're the ones who decide who the tax collector is. They're the ones who vote on Keystone. So this is your say in how the EIT is collected, processed, accounted for.
Okay, so Judith wanted to be a delegate. Do we want to add Judith? Okay, does anybody want to be a first voting delegate? I would be the first voting delegate. Is that all right with everyone? Okay, everyone is okay. A second alternate voting delegate? I'll be the second. Catherine will be the second. So we are going to vote to have voting delegate Judith Danko, Helen Halahol, and Catherine Price-Engelhardt. We already had a motion and a second. Any comments from the public? No comments from the public. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-1. Okay. I'm sorry, 7-0. It's been a long night. Any public comment on non-agenda items? I think there was a sign-in sheet.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie Colgan.
Sick of listening to me, I'll tell you. Debbie Colgan, West Hendrickson Avenue. At the last council meeting, it was really refreshing to finally hear about the donated, dedicated property act from that side of the dais. Supporters of Williams Park preservation were telling you that for years at public comment, but the borough never acknowledged to us that the DDPA requires court approval to take away a public park and that the borough would comply. So I appreciate that. What you didn't say, though, is that the borough will uphold its constitutional responsibility to preserve and protect Williamson Park. Remember, you took an oath when you were sworn in that says you will support, obey, and defend the Pennsylvania Constitution. The Constitution states, quote, public natural resources are the common property of all the people, including generations yet to come. As trustee of these resources, the Commonwealth shall conserve and maintain them for the benefit of all the people. It's time for you to do your constitutional duty. The borough needs to affirm that the park's uses will be limited to recreational purposes that serve the public. If the DDPA is all we need to protect our parks, then why do we have deed restrictions on our other parks? There is no need for an expensive conservation easement, and we can help the solicitor find the information he needs to help get this done. So let us know. We can help him. Also, the park parcels are currently in the certified redevelopment area, which offers no benefits to the park. It only puts its future at risk. Our primary source for grants, which is DCNR, does not give any weight to projects within a certified redevelopment area. Redevelopment areas are used to incentivize private development in areas that are declared blighted, underused, and or are hindering economic development. In 2021, the borough, in preparation for the commercial development, the borough passed a resolution that declared that the park is in a blighted, that has conditions of blight and is in an area of blight. This is the first step to build justification in court for a transfer to private commercial use. By keeping the park in the certified redevelopment area, you are telling us that you are still open to selling off our park. The borough spent over $19,000 on Williamson Park planning since 2020, and in at least $10,000 was spent in 2018. That's about $30,000 of known spending with nothing to show for it. There is no identified path for completion of a plan. Let's stop this irresponsible use of taxpayer dollars and achieve actual results.
Okay, that's 3 minutes.
A committee to develop a community-driven plan that we will actually use. The community is ready, willing, and able to do this work for you.
Mary, Brenda.
Let's move forward.
Nice intro, Debbie. Okay. On August 20th.
State your name and address.
Mary Renda, 343 Crown Street. On August 22nd, 2024, the Parks and Rec Committee held a special meeting facilitated by Gilmore and Associates to gather input from borough residents to help them develop a comprehensive plan for Williamson Park. The meeting was very well attended, well run, and very positive. Many good ideas were provided by the residents attending for things that people like about the park and improvements that could be made. The sense of the meeting was that the people like the park and want to see it maintained and improved. One of the residents at the meeting asked whether everyone attending could get a copy of all of the ideas that we contributed. We were told that we could. And so we provided our contact information so we could soon get this, a list of all the ideas that were contributed for Williamson Park at that meeting. And we should each be sent this information as was promised. I don't know who has it. Hopefully Catherine or Nancy or somebody has this information, and we would like to get that information. Now we hear from council members that the comprehensive plan and that we contributed to has been completed. The comprehensive plan for Williamson Park has been completed a while ago, but it has not been released to the public. Why? Is it because at least half of council members now in office, by their own words and actions, would still like to find a way to develop the park and just want to bury the comprehensive plan? You can't legally and ethically develop the park, as Debbie explained. The Williamson Park Comprehensive Plan, recently developed by Gilmore, must be released to the public now. Thank you.
Peggy Walsh.
Peggy Walsh, Stockham Avenue, 444. Last meeting, Borough Manager, you said that the consulting fee that we hired to get a new police chief, that would be listed on the budget, like the amount of money. I don't see that listed as aspirant anyplace. So is there any public knowledge of the amount of money we're paying for the consulting fee? Because obviously we haven't hired anybody yet because we have an interim, and then we're also paying for somebody to train the interim police chief. And then although you don't think it's a whole lot of money, $200,000 to pay off the old police chief because as far as I'm concerned, he was wrongfully fired. And then I see on the bills that we paid the interim police chief $118,000 last month, if I'm reading that correctly. And then we pay the consulting fee to get this plan done for Williamson Park, and still nothing. So we certainly are wasting an awful lot of taxpayer money with what I don't see results from any of this. Just seems waste to me. So that's my comment. And I also just want to say, I think this commenting is extremely confusing. You don't know when to get up. You don't know when to sit down. Some people get more time. Some people get less time. Some people are charged time when somebody up there is talking in their time. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre.
So I can help you with the understanding of the invoices. You will not see aspirant on the bill list, not the budget, but there's a bill list every month here on the table. You will not see that on there until a payment is made. Aspirant is the company that is being utilized for the new chief of police search. They are not a consulting company to run the police department. The consultant is your interim police chief.
Right. Who now is not being the interim police chief, and now we're going to pay him more money to be the consultant while we still look for a new police chief.
I just wanted to clarify what you're looking for.
What will we find that out?
Find what out?
What we're paying Aspen.
That was on a previous agenda.
But you never, the amount of money wasn't on
That will be on a future bills list. You will see it on
there.
there.
You told me last time it would be on this list.
Well, I said it will be on a bills list once an invoice takes place and a payment is made. You won't see it on any bills list until an invoice is made and a payment is made.
So over, like, we're getting up to $750,000 with this police chief.
Don Rice? You are.
Don Rice, Crown Street, Morrisville. I wasn't planning on making this comment, but when I heard the Gilmore and Associates report on the levy certification, at the end they started getting into the flooding problems that involved the canal. And I'm aware of where they were. It is proposed to put in the new diversion from the canal to the river, just north of the Calhoun Street Bridge along the canal. You repeatedly asked, when are you going to get it done? And I think his response did not include several very important facts. One, the canal is a state park. In order to do anything like that with the canal, you're going to have to get state park buy-in. I once talked to the person who was, he was the head of the Canal State Park. He's no longer there. He moved on to another job. But I asked him that question because this is not a new idea. It's an old idea. And he said it would take the state park at least 2 years to review the plan. So that's just the review. As well, you have the DRBC, Delaware River Basin Control Commission, to consider. Right at the Calhoun Street Bridge, there is an endangered species of sturgeon that spawns. The water in the canal at the point where it would be diverted into the river is not Delaware River water. It is runoff. Earlier upstream, it's all been, the canal's been breached and it's just runoff coming in. And I think it's going to be a big leap to be able to get the DRBC to approve something that is dumping sediment-laden water into a spawning ground for an endangered species of fish. And one other thing, I'm just speculating here. I have heard this, it's secondhand information. In order to make the diversion there, you either have to go under River Road or close River Road. And I heard, they said the only practical way of doing it is to close River Road. You close that road, there's going to be a problem in Morrisville. I would say between all of those, if all goes well, it's going to be 4 or 5 years before any such diversion could get approved and constructed. My opinion.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we had a council discussion item about home rental registrations. Do you want to do that next month, Melissa? Okay, so just for councils, Melissa's going to take that on. But what that is that we have a lot of rental units in town. And so just like apartments, we would like to start where homeowners would like to come into the, well, they wouldn't like to, but for them to come into the borough and register that they're a rental apartment and then get UNOs done and inspections just like the apartments. So we'll be talking more about that in the next couple months. Mayor's comments? Mr. Mayor.
Good evening. Thank you. Right. Hope you all are doing or having a great start to your week and preparing for the holiday weekend ahead of us. Please remember to be safe while enjoying this weekend. And also come out on Monday to watch the parade. The parade will start at 9 a.m. at the Presbyterian Church. I would like to thank Bella Sisley for their partnership with our Buy a Slice, Give a Slice initiative. Because of your generosity and the community support, we were able to feed 20 families. A heartfelt thank you to all who participated. Secondly, as mentioned, last week was National Police Week. I want to extend our gratitude to all law enforcement officers for their daily dedication to ensuring our safety, especially our officers here in Morrisville PD. Thank you. Next.
Oh. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, I got a little bit actually. Now I'll try and keep it quick. So next, I would like to thank the Girl Scout Troop 2888 for their efforts to help the earth by collecting plastic to be melted down into a wonderful bench. The bench is actually downstairs in the lobby, so take a look at it. It's pretty cool. In addition to Troop 2888, 3 other troops are still collecting to donate 3 more benches to Morrisville's Williamson Park. Drop-off locations are at Twisted Root Chiropractic, Morrisville Presbyterian Church, and Morrisville United Methodist Church. We appreciate the community's efforts to help with this, and each bench takes about 1,000 pounds of plastic. Thank you, Girl Scouts. Don't forget to check out the bench. Oh, I just said that. Sorry. All right. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the Mayor's Picnic. Thank you to Council for the approval. This will be a great event for the community. With that said, I'll be looking for volunteers to help out leading up to the event and also the day of the event, and also looking for sponsors. So if you know anyone who are looking to help out or be a sponsor, please email me at gwallicemb@outlook.com. You can also find me on my social media pages, Mayor Gary Wallace, and then Gary E. Wallace on Instagram. My hope is to bring...
I'll help you, Gary.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll get you some cash.
My hope is to bring all Morrisville together for a day of fun and entertainment. So I appreciate it. Hope to see everyone out there on August 31st. We're going to do it that Saturday this time so we can have some fun.
Did you talk about the Memorial Day Parade?
I did.
Oh, okay. I just blanked.
You got it. This Monday, 9 a.m. start at the Presbyterian Church.
Council members, I hope that you join in. I think we're going to walk with the mayor. So anybody who's available, meet about 8:30, 8:45 at the Presbyterian Church. Committee updates. Catherine, you had wanted, I meant for you to go ahead and make a comment after all public comment. So if you want to make your comment, what you wanted to say.
Oh, that's okay. I just, we did send out, so Nancy and I took minutes during that public meeting, and we did put out what we had listed and stuff, but the official one, we never, yeah.
Okay, there's no go back and forth. I'm sorry.
I'll talk to you later about it, but yeah. So, the Parks and Recreation meeting will be next Tuesday, but we're going to meet downstairs. So, and it'll actually probably be cooler. So, and it's the same time. And then I'd like to thank the council for supporting the park events that are coming up this summer. And I really appreciate the support. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I think we made it through, and it's only 9 o'clock, considering all our problems. So,
can I make a comment?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Robinson.
I don't know if we skipped over it or not. I have some good news and reassuring news tonight, Ms. Walsh. I know there's been some money has been spent on our consultant here and the various police. What's going on downstairs? A lot of it you can't see, okay? It's behind closed doors. But there's definitely an improvement in the culture, a priceless improvement of the culture. Here's an example. This is a folder, okay? Let's pretend inside this folder are complaint forms. Ms. Harmon, I think you're familiar with them. Now, was recently discovered.
Scott.
Can we talk about this or not?
No.
We can't talk about this either?
You're venturing into personnel matters. Please do not.
It's not personnel.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Unfortunately, no. We would love to, but
The culture is getting better,
the change of the culture is getting better.
much better.
There's a person in the audience that is agreeing with that, correct? 100%. And, oh, don't get upset. I'm so happy to hear that you whatever he did to help you. Chief Simpson, don't cry.
We haven't over the last several months, and hopefully we're going to continue on with the process because he is involved with the process of finding our next chief of police. The advice, guidance, professionalism from Chief Simpson is second to none. And his example. And trust us, if you don't think we've asked him 100 times, why don't you just stay on? We have. Hopefully we will find someone.
All in favor? No opposition? We will miss Chief Simpson. We're joking, but he has done an extraordinary job for us. Okay, nobody else? What's that? Does anybody else have anything to say? Anybody from the public? Last chance, 1, 2, 3. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Motion. Virginia, just pick some names, put them down.
9:07, we're adjourning. Thank you all for attending.